And plus, I knew like my time was running out. So
the shot clock.
Yeah. So,
let's talk about the shot clock. I want to find out how to transition to that.
Right.
We want the transition, but you set it up. Thank you for the
There you
alley-oop.
go. Boom.
And gave me the alley-oop. Here we go. So let's talk about this transition. This shot clock was going. What happened?
2020 came, and I was just like, all right. So I had a conversation. I had a conversation with him and said, by New Year's of 2020.
2021.
This was 2019. Going into
2019.
I was like, by the new year, like something will have to happen, or we could be, friends.
I'm Latera Sarwicki, and welcome to the Dear Future Wifey podcast. Welcome to the Dear Future Wifey podcast. I'm your host, Latera Sarwicki. Man, God has been doing some amazing things to this podcast. Hey, if you haven't subscribed, what are you doing? Stop shacking up with us and hit that subscription button and subscribe. Man, I got a chance to run into my buddies. I was out eating the other day. See, I always ask for God to bring organically guests that he's supposed to have on this podcast. And I've been wanting to talk to my friends for a minute. And I said, hey, I ran into them and I said, when are y'all getting married? I saw the engagement video. They said this week. I said, oh my God, this would be great to have y'all on the podcast. Just days before y'all transition into holy matrimony. So let me tell you something. I'm excited to have them on the podcast because they're about to keep it lit. They're entrepreneurs and business owners. Welcome to the Dear Future Wifey podcast. My homies, La'Shara, Jefferson, and Quieran Burnett. How y'all doing, y'all?
Good.
Oh, Lord, y'all about to cross over that threshold of holy matrimony. Y'all nervous?
More so just ready to get there.
Just ready to get there?
Yeah. Just the planning, and then, you just can't wait to see all the plans come together, So it's like a puzzle.
It's a puzzle, and it's a whole production for you.
Yes, it's definitely a production.
You know what? We're going to call this episode Before the I Do. Before the I Do. So let me ask you this. A lot of people, I want y'all to keep it lit. A lot of people, when they're getting ready to prepare for a wedding, the devil begins to attack them with all kind of stuff. Did y'all face that over these last few months?
Absolutely.
Yes. Yes.
Like what? Go ahead. What are some things that challenge y'all?
I guess more so just learning, because we never stayed together until we got engaged. And so luckily for us, we did marriage counseling.
Good.
Prior to, of course, our wedding. And it's just like within every course that we had, there was like a challenge that related to the course that we had that week. So whether it was I think the biggest part is probably communication. Because when you live by yourself, you set in a certain way, and you move a certain way. But then when it's somebody else, it's like it's like adapting to like their mannerisms, adapting to just different things. So for me, it's just like with every session, we got tested with
whatever that subject was.
Yes.
So who moved with who?
No,
we actually got a new space.
Good.
Yeah, buddy.
He said, yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
So what do you find the most difficult thing as y'all was preparing? I'm going to call you Q, since that's what we call you, Q.
That'll work. Yeah, definitely.
Go ahead. Tell us what you ran into.
Really just, staying in communication. And I think that was probably the ongoing lesson, like throughout the whole thing, and whether it was communicating like times or communicating how we felt, it was really just that, and letting it be known like it's okay to like express like you feeling, because I think a lot of times like we try to either hold stuff in, because it's like, well, I don't want to say this and it upset my partner, or and this, and I don't want to rock the boat or something like that, but. We found out, it's a lot easier to like have them conversations early on to really just kind of like set that foundation.
Yes.
So it helped out.
So what was the communication? I'm glad that y'all said that, because that is what they say the number one struggle in any relationship, whether it's professional, whether it's a familial relationship from a family standpoint. But if you can't talk to the person about what's going on, it doesn't disappear. You know, the problem they say it's the little foxes that destroy the vines. So it just grows, it festers, and it grows into bitterness. And then you mad at her, and she's like, well, why'd you tell me? You was like, man, because I know how you was going to act. No, you don't know how I was going to act. You don't know how I was going to act, you know? So it has this crazy thing. So I'm glad that y'all guys are challenging or overcoming those challenges early on, so you don't have to face them in your marriage. Now, why was it important for y'all to go through marriage counseling? Premarital counseling?
Just to kind of be honest, like growing up, I really didn't. This is just like my side of it, but I really never seen a successful marriage.
Likewise. Me too.
I've never witnessed it, like people being married for 20, 30. I've never seen that. So for me, it was just like building that foundation, because I feel, because with me, like I'm just getting married one time. You know, that's the idea. And so it's kind of like, well, I need to learn the tools that's needed for me to be able to have that long, you know, powerful marriage. And then also just learn about myself, because like I said, you know, you've been by your kind of, you set in your ways, and some of your ways ain't right. So, or, you know, it just don't make sense, you know, in that type of environment. So for me, it was just learning more of who I was as a person. Like, what do I need to change? Because it's easy to point the finger at your partner. Yes. When a lot of times it's you, you know, it's some stuff with you that you got to change as well. So that's why I felt like it was important. And so we're going to put perspective about it. How old are you? 33. And how old are you?
37.
So when we say, and I love when you say, like, you know, you've been set in your ways for X amount of years. And because at the end of the day, you be like, you know, I'm 43 years old. So it's a lot of things that I have to unlearn or open myself up when you're, you know, linking up with somebody else, instead of saying, well, listen, this is the way I am. Right. I've been this way all my life. You know what I'm saying? It's like, no, that may be unhealthy. Right. You've been that way all your life, and nobody ever told you that was a problem. Right. So you need to overcome that. Right. So, Q, what about you?
I mean, and so like we definitely come from 2 different backgrounds, like household wise, and so I wanted to do it just because I wanted to, like she said, set the foundation and really kind of bring in somebody to make it a safe space for us to be able to open up, you know. And so and coming from a household where my parents, they still together, been married 45 years now.
45 years?
Yeah.
So you've seen a successful marriage.
Yeah. So like I know it's, yeah, so like I know it's possible, but it's, you know, it's like just taking that example and like making sure like we have like a solid, deep foundation. And so I wanted to make sure like we both like going forward confident, you know, and just really kind of let her know like I'm okay with it. Like I'm for it because I don't know everything. Yeah. And that was one of the main reasons why I wanted to do it, because, you know, you don't know it all.
So what was the one thing that you learned the most in premarital class?
Me or
him? I'm going to ask old Q over here.
For me, I'd probably say not, I guess, not assuming. You know, yeah, that would probably be like the main thing, like not assuming what I'm doing is like what she's expecting of me.
Explain that.
Okay, so one of our topics was, you know, our expectations of each other during the marriage. You know, like what are we expecting from a partner? And so it's that was probably big for me, because what I thought I was doing was what she expected me to do, or what was going to please her, like make her happy. But come to find out, it wasn't what she was expecting or what she wanted from me as her husband. So a lot of times, like he was telling us, people don't know that, and so you'll be thinking you're doing the right thing. You know, you think, well, I'm doing this, I'm taking care of this, I'm taking care of that.
And they don't care at all.
And that's not what she expecting at all.
And that's why it's so important to understand each other's love languages. Yeah. Did y'all get into that?
Yeah, we did. We did.
So did that, what you felt like you were providing for her, was that in direct opposition to, you know, what her love language was? Did you know that before? That you know her love language before going through premarital counseling?
Yeah, I did, and so her love language is gifts and quality time. So
which one's the strongest?
Quality time.
Okay.
Without a doubt.
Is it these gifts?
Yeah.
Like, she gave me money when I'm in need.
Right. And so mine is touch and acts of service. You know, so a lot of times, and I feel like, you know, for a lot of men, that's theirs as well, because we feel like if we're doing stuff around the house, taking care of things, you know, trash or whatever it might be.
But your love language is acts of service.
Yeah.
So you like for a woman to perform acts of services for you. I mean, it sounded kind of freaky, but I'm talking about like washing, you know, like acts of service, like washing dishes, like cleaning the house, that type of stuff.
Yes.
Okay. Because normally like women kind of like that, and then men lean towards physical touch and words of affirmation. So that's interesting.
Yeah. And so
y'all look at me like that when I say acts of service.
I ain't know where it was going. I thought it was about to go left real quick.
No,
My mama watching.
Yeah, mama watching. She know what acts of service is. All right, go ahead. That's how you was born. Anyway, she was saying. Oh God. So you want it, but what in what order was it? Touch versus. I mean, the highest is touch versus acts of service. All right, it makes sense.
And I mean, like even early on, like when we first started dating, like that was a thing, because I'm a hugger.
Yeah. And she don't like hugging. You don't like hugging, Shara?
No, it's no. He's no.
What?
He's going to, because since I'm not a touch person.
Yeah.
But you go to women.
Yeah.
And he be like, yeah, he giving them nice
hug.
Country Southern gentleman hugs. I'm like, you ain't gotta be hugged for 3-4 seconds. Like it, it don't be, it be like, and I had to. I used to be like, what? Like, hold on, because some women take that and be like, hold on. Yeah. But I have to I'm like, okay, that's his thing. Like he love hugging people.
Yeah.
But it took me some years to really learn, like, to be okay with it. Now he cut it short. It be 3 seconds. It'd be like one.
It'd be a side hug.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
You know what's so interesting is that our natural things that we do become the biggest opposition in our relationships, because you feel like, hey, you disrespecting me, and he like, no, I'm not. Like I'm not even. I don't mean nothing by it, and you like, you got to know something is wrong with that. And in his brain, he just not like, I've always done that, and that's what I say is we have to be open enough to just learn and accept that other person's truth. That's all right. Because it gets that stuff can destroy a relationship very easily by just saying, can you at least check my motives? Do you think my motives are with ill intent that I'm hugging this person like that? And then sometimes you gotta be like, look at that. Look who I just hugged. You think I want her? You know what I'm saying? You start, you get real like that. You be like, well, I'm just saying you making her think she wants you. And you like, just hug. Okay, forget it. And then you start being real standoffish with people. And then now he's not been able to full self. So he'd be like, dang, this relationship is dimming my light. And then you just don't want to be there no more. I'm telling you, that's what happens so much. But when you have these open conversations and be transparent, then you can actually get over that stuff that's just who that person is. And then you can always find little boundaries and set up some compromises or whatnot, because I believe that, we can always adjust and make that person feel secure. But just understanding that person doesn't have ill intent behind it is what helps a relationship thrive. And so what was the biggest thing you learned in premarital counseling?
I have more of my mom in me than I thought.
Mama watching it, so we ain't gonna unpack.
She probably said, "That's right."
She said, "That's right. That's right, baby. That's right. That's right. You just like me. I told you a spitting image of me.
I taught her well. Yeah,
I taught her well. That's what you know.
So when you say that, what do you mean by more of your mama? What characteristics? What traits are you talking about?
I would say I was influenced a lot with I guess because she was a single parent. And so just watching her, how she moved, you think that's right.
Yeah.
Not that it was wrong, but, you think, oh, okay.
That's the norm. That's how it should be.
So somebody mess up, go to the on to the next.
Yeah.
Like, so it, she probably like, oh, God. So, like, just watching how my mom operated, I took that on. And in my head, like, when I was growing up, I ain't gonna be like, nah, she ain't mad. She out here, moving, hot girl summer, winter, fall. So, and I'm the oldest of the kids, so I was always, like, next to, in charge.
Yeah.
So if my mama had to, step out and go hang out, I was the one watching the kids. So my mama was always transparent with me, where she was going, what time she gonna be back, so I was always that person to my mama.
Yeah.
So for me, going through counseling, I'm like, dang, I got a lot of my mom in me. Like, when it comes to just being independent.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like, even learning through counseling, you could be so independent that it's like,
you have no space for your man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And so what I learned was that, you have to let down the walls a little, I have to, like,
She's still struggling with that. Q, still struggling. Yeah, she's struggling even saying it, Q.
Because, like,
I'm still a little bit.
Yeah, that's progress right there.
That's progress right there.
Because it's just like you go through years and years and even prior relationships where, because this is not my first engagement.
Okay.
Like, I've been engaged before.
Okay.
So even just being in that relationship is just kind of like being the, like your money. My mama would always say, don't let your right hand know what your left hand doing.
I know it. Why they teach y'all that stuff?
So it's just kind of,
I know I've heard that so much. Jesus, I'm gonna unpack that. Finish your sentence. Ooh, Q, you know what I'm talking about? Like, why you just,
man.
Just like you, go ahead. I'll tell you.
But like, one strike, hey, go move to the next.
Yeah.
Like, it's move on. Ain't, dudes ain't no good men out there.
Exactly.
Like, just those connotations and just being embedded in your mind. You gotta be independent. Like, you don't need no man. You know what I'm saying? Like, just hearing that all throughout my childhood, it's like, oh, okay. Cool, that's the norm.
So when you got engaged the first time, when it ended, did that confirm the fact that there ain't no good men out there?
Yes. I ain't gonna say that. It was just more so of
You start laughing.
I was in a place where I let the walls down and I was like, okay, well, we're gonna make this happen, and I became dependent on another person to help pay the bills. And I became dependent on somebody else to help me keep this roof over my head, bring food, and it was like I was let down. So it's like, okay, so I can't depend on no man, so let me get it. And that's where I really started going hard in my business.
And that's what I want to talk about.
Okay.
I'm going to transition to that. But I want to unpack this thing that your mama said.
What your mama said?
Well, because people say it all the time. Don't let your right hand know what your left hand know. Don't let, you know what kind of deception that creates in a relationship? Just think about it. That the person that's supposed to walk alongside of me, they ain't finna know how I'm moving. They ain't know what I'm doing. Like, really? You got my last name. We live together, but I'm not gonna know what you're doing. And it's women that, I used to work at the bank. I used to work at the bank when I was 19 years old. Bank One, God rest their soul, ain't around no more. But Bank One was around, and I used to work at the bank. And this lady used to come up there, and she was like, "Yeah, I need you to put this in my other account. My husband don't know about this." And I remember at 19, I said, "Why doesn't your husband know about this account?" Shoot, in case something go wrong. Shoot, I got my little old nest egg over here. And I remember at 19, I said, something is wrong with that idea that you literally have set up a nest egg, some money aside that your husband don't know nothing about, and you think that's okay. But so when your husband have a woman on the side that you don't know nothing about, is that okay? So it's like, because when you start creating and you start breeding deception and lack of transparency in a relationship, it opens the doors for everything. And so I said, couldn't you just tell your husband or whatever, I got my little play fund over here, and y'all just discuss? He's like, I don't care, keep your money over there or whatever. But what was so crazy about it, she had more money in her side account he didn't know about than she had in her and they joint account. And I said, wow, that is. And I remember at 19, I said, that's actually scary, because this lady could up and be gone, and she like, and then it would justify the fact that she had the money. She said, see, I knew I should have had this money aside because he did X, Y, Z. And if I didn't have this, then I wouldn't be able to have this money to fall back on. When I like to challenge the belief that if you didn't have that money and didn't have that ideology, you wouldn't cultivated that seed in order to birth that in the first place. And so it's a crazy thing that we teach each other, and I think it's such toxic understanding and belief. You know what I'm saying? We do it, and when we really get down to it, it's a fear. Yeah. It's a fear of saying, I'm married to this person, but if it don't go right, then I need to have this security. You know, and it's like, why get married then? Stay single as long as you can until you get rid of that fear. Because the most amazing thing, which is what we're going to go in the next couple of episodes, is unpacking those marriage vows that we say. We stand up there, we say all these powerful vows to have and to hold, for better or for worse, through sickness and health. We say this stuff and be like, I don't really believe that. I'm saying it right now, but I got this money on the side in case it don't go right. It's like, really? Like, how does that make sense? You're saying some really stuff. To death do us part.
Right.
But just in case, I'm gonna go ahead and have this on the side. Like add that into, if you're gonna be real lit, add that into your marriage vows and say, but if it don't go right, I know that I'm gonna have this money on the side, and I got this other chick that I'm gonna go to that I really want to marry, but other than you in the first place. So let's go and do this. We're gonna see if this works. You know what I'm saying? Like let's keep it real. And so that's interesting. I want to transition in the fact that because of that bad relationship and how it awoken or your brain in, I got to make sure I'm in a better position financially, which is powerful because a lot of women have that, and it's nothing wrong with that. I think whatever motivation you need to level up, doggone take it. But what did that do? How did that make you level up, and what are you doing now in your life?
It made me level up because I didn't want to have to want for anything. Like, I didn't want to have to ask anybody to, help me with bills, buy me this, do this or whatever. So I decided to take on that responsibility and say, if I want something, I want to be able to get it. Like, I don't want to have to ask nobody for no money, have to sit here and beg and do all that. No, because I've been down that road and it don't feel good. So that's when I really just got into, owning my, starting my business and really just putting, all that energy. Because that's the thing, like with women, because we're so emotional, when we go through things, it can either take you, it can either break you or make you. And what I see a lot is women let things like that break them. Yes. When in fact you can use that energy and turn it into a business or turn it into something, to make you feel better. But for me, it was channeling that energy into my business. And what is your business? So I have two businesses. So I am a full-time Herbalife distributor. I've been doing that now for 8 years. And I'm in the top 1% of the company. Leveled up. When I'm talking about, I don't know what you did, ex-fiance, but you lit a fire up under this girl. And this girl done leveled up on a whole nother level and top 1% of freaking Herbalife. And
thank you.
Yeah, he said thank you. She said thank you. Thank you. Praise the Lord.
And then I also just opened, well, not just opened, it'll be 2 years in December, a plant-based smoothie shop in Cedar Hill, Texas.
Which I love so much. That's how I met her. I went up there one day and then Q was leaving and I was like, dog it. He was like, yeah, we leave, but you come here tomorrow or whatever. And I was like, you ain't gonna turn around and make me a smoothie? All right, I guess I'll just come back on it was Monday because it was on Saturday. Come back Monday. I came back Monday and I've been going ever since. And so it's interesting. You call me your uncle, you're like, hey, Uncle Terry. And I was like, wow, it's just like we just clicked from day one or whatnot. And so you leveled up, you're in the top 1% of Herbalife. How did you meet your boo thing over here?
Okay, so our stories, when you ask him, it may be different.
Okay, this is
because it's a different perspective. So I just graduated from college, and the first time we were at a Omega Probate. So if you've been to like a Greek party, it's crowded in there. The Deltas and the Omegas, if you see one, you gotta introduce yourself and whatever. So I don't remember him. But he said he came up to me and was trying to like talk to me, and I just kind of was like, all right, and moved on. And then the second time,
it sound real right.
We went to, it was another Omega party, And then that's when we kind of just started talking about him because he had on all black, and I'm like, I know you hot, you know. And then we just started talking, and then he found me on Twitter.
Are you linked up on Twitter?
All right, so
now you tell me what happened.
Because the first part is right, but it wasn't because like I don't know if she wasn't paying me attention, but let's just say she had all the attention.
Oh, she had all attention?
Okay,
yeah, so I just
that's all he need.
Yeah, so I just I said, "Hey, how you doing?" And she said, "Oh, okay." And dismissed me. It was just
you just curved him.
That's what happened. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah, and then but after the second time I met her, for one, she was by herself, so she ain't have like it wasn't a crowd to get through.
Yeah.
And it was either be entertained by me and my jokes or be there by herself and sitting off to the side. So she chose to be entertained. Thank you. But we was already friends on Twitter. So, yeah, we was already following each other on Twitter.
So what?
I just so happened to, like, recognize her name.
So what did you see in her? When you first saw her, what did you think? I want the first thought that crossed your mind when you saw her.
Wow, she's tall.
All right. And then what happened?
I spoke. But I mean, like, she was tall, she had on heels, she got long legs, and you could see them. It was a skirt? Yeah, she had on a skirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were looking at them legs?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah,
That's true, right? That's fact.
That's facts.
Yeah.
So when you hit up on Twitter, what was you thinking?
I said, we literally, I said, so we already follow each other. And she was like, oh, you stalking me? But we was already,
Yeah, he was just making like general basic conversation, like basic, basic conversation.
So you just wasn't amused. You was kind of like,
I was just like, because I'm used to.
She's used to it.
So I'm like, oh, okay. Like, oh, let me just, let me just be nice and communicate back.
That's it. You didn't think nothing of it.
No.
It didn't catch your interest at all.
Not like because I was out,
All right. So when did it transition from being in the tweeting each other back and forth in the DMs to actually saying let's go out on a date, let's pick up the phone and talk to each other?
Probably a year. I would say a year, like to date, dating wise.
But y'all was communicating.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we was communicating.
It took a year for y'all to go meet each other face to face.
No, to be official, it took a year.
How long did it take for you to take him serious enough to go have a bite to eat with him?
No, it was a long time. Oh Lord,
it was a long time.
Like a month or two.
About a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About a month.
So when you took out the first time, what were you thinking? Were you like, this is somebody I'm interested in, or is this I just want to see what's she about, or what? Because I want the viewers to understand the mindset of a man. You are about to marry this woman. How did you make it to this place?
So we met kind of like at a mutual spot, and really just trying to get to know her. So it wasn't anything like, I wouldn't say I had like just, high expectations, but, I just really was just trying to see and like literally like get to know her.
Exactly.
So I think we went to, what was it, Buffalo Wild Wings? So we went to Buffalo Wild Wings and literally like talked over lemonade. Like no food was ordered, just lemonade. And so I don't know if she was trying to be cute or what. I think she was trying to be cute.
What was it?
No, I don't.
You wasn't trying to be cute?
Probably
what you
was.
Think? You said probably was?
Yeah.
Because I didn't want him to think it was a date.
So you had walls up. So you had walls up, right? Yeah. So, because this is real. So you had these walls built up. You were engaged before. How much time lapsed between the engagement and then going out with him?
Probably a few months.
A few months. So yeah, it's definitely walls up.
Yeah,
you like I ain't. What?
I'm
what?
like.
Which is good. Which is good. So then, how long did it take for you to actually? What did he do? That's a better question to make you say, maybe something here.
Oh, okay. So this is when we kind of started building, like we was into Herbalife.
Okay, so y'all working together.
So we in Herbalife, we're still friends. But just the fact that he was like supporting the vision, the goal, like he was just like, I'm in, let's do it. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, because at this point, I went out with people. I'm like, I ain't trying to be doing all that. Like, I need to get my money.
You were focused on that?
Yeah, I need to get my business right. I need to get my money up. And in my head, I'm like, and if you're not trying to do that, I really ain't have no room for you.
So it was a perfect thing then for him to be in the same business that you're focused on, for y'all to just level up together. God is interesting, ain't he? He interesting, ain't he? You know what I'm saying? He just brought you in the same business. It's like, hey, we just friends, we just working. Next thing you know, you look over like,
you're right.
Okay.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's what's so cool, because you couldn't have met him any other way. You know what I'm saying? You're focused. That's where you're spending most of your time. I ain't gonna say most. All your time is spent in that. And then he so happened to be where your heart is, and then it cultivates something great. Right. And that's why I call it purpose partners. Once you get married to somebody and you marry the right person, it's purpose partners. It's not just a marriage, your husband or wife. Y'all are serving the purpose that God has for y'all together, and y'all both level up together.
Right.
And so how long was that? How long was it before y'all were doing Herbalife together?
What you mean?
From the day when y'all met?
Oh, what, a year?
Probably
like a year.
Who was doing it first? Both of y'all was
So I was invited to a meeting, and I was like, I don't want to go by myself.
And you invited him?
Yeah, I said, come, yeah.
God, dog, boy, boy, ain't this something here? Boy, this all right. So you invited him to the thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't want to go by myself. I was like, I don't know these people. He was like, okay. And I was like, I knew he was gonna come because he
want to spend time with you.
Yeah, I'm like,
Dude, to follow you to church. They ain't been to church all his life. Like, we going to, all right, we go. So y'all up at the meeting together, and did y'all both join at the same time?
Yep.
Why'd you join?
Well, she was already a part of it.
I was a client.
She was already a part of it.
Oh yeah, client.
Yeah. So for me, I honestly, like, I was at a spot in my business or at my job at the time where I really didn't see myself like growing or like going in higher up, and just wasn't having fun, wasn't interested, and so I just honestly kind of caught the inspiration from the environment and people being motivated and inspired, and I was like, why not? I didn't see like anything to lose, and decided to give it a shot. So that's what really kind of like made me decide to do it. And from there, I always tell people we was just crazy enough to think that it would work. Like we just were like, you know.
Because in that field, in network marketing, you don't see a lot of African Americans.
Right.
Oh, no,
and especially women. So, we're already standing out because we're like, okay, well, we finna change it, change the dynamic of it. So, yeah.
So, and that was how many years ago?
8 years ago.
So about 8 years ago. And then, how did y'all flow into this is my boo thing, we're in a relationship together?
Well, we decided that just because we just got out of relationships, we didn't want to jump right into after ours ended.
Good.
So we took a year.
Good.
And that was actually his idea.
Good, Q. Good.
He said,
I'm telling you.
let's do a year. So right at the year mark, I said, so what we doing?
There it is.
Yeah.
Oh boy, you better keep that same energy.
She probably gave me a month.
Grace.
She gave me 30-day grace after that year.
Yeah. I said, so.
but no, and it's crazy because around that time, like she said, both of our relationships had ended, and my mom, My mom.
What your mama do?
She said, these are her exact words. Boy, you need to be by yourself. She was like, you need to be by yourself for a year.
That's good.
And so I was like, okay, cool. And then with the church, literally like either that Sunday or another Sunday, and the pastor was talking about relationships and kind of gave the same advice of like, you know, giving it a year. And so I just kind of took it as confirmation. I was like, yeah. I said, my mama's saying this, you know, my pastor said this. And she looked at me. She was like, what? And she said, okay, all right. And that was it. No other words. She was like, all right. And like she said, after that 30-day grace after the year, she was like, what we doing?
And what you say?
We doing this.
And then Facebook status.
And she said,
change.
put it on Facebook.
They say, Shara, put it on Facebook. Because if it ain't on Facebook, it ain't real. He said, if it ain't on Facebook, it ain't real.
Yeah.
He said, put it on Facebook. You had no problem putting it up there?
None at all.
And there it was. And so that was 7 years ago?
Yep. Right. Yep.
So how did y'all transition from boyfriend and girlfriend to saying, you know what, let's go ahead and get married?
That's your question. Yeah, that's your question.
Yo,
You had to say I do.
Oh,
So I mean,
let me ask you, because you had to get into your mindset of actually wanting to take that step, which is one of the hardest steps for men to take. Women don't understand how difficult. We talked about this at the restaurant a couple of days ago. Is that it's hard for a man to say, because in our mind, we're so taught, and it's so unhealthy, that you're giving up so much to get married. Like, man, it's a crazy thing. You get married, and the guy's sitting while you're getting ready to step out there. Man,
you sure?
You sure, man? You sure? Like, why, do you think I want to hear that right now? Are you sure, man? You know you finna give up, man. You finna be locked down. That's gonna be the last vagina you ever had. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to hear that right before you get married? And it's like, it's so depressing to act like you're giving up so much good to get something that's not greater. And if we can understand that, yeah, I'm giving up this independence, so to speak. I'm giving up this, but I'm gaining so much.
Right.
Because the Bible says, he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. So that means that, yeah, you've been doing good. All the stuff that you've been able to get on your own, great job, done a great job. But now watch how you explode on a whole nother level after you link up with your purpose partner. Now you get favor from the Lord. And then God begins to bless you abundantly above all you could ever ask a thing. I ain't going to preach right now, but just tell me how you transition to that
Right. And so for me, it was always wanting to be married.
You know? Wanted to be married?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, my parents, and so like seeing the longevity they have, and I always looked at it like, you know, finding that one person that is okay with putting up with you, and especially like my mom and my dad. So like knowing that like if my mom can put up with my dad for that long, then I know it's possible to find somebody
that can put up with you,
that can put up with me. And so that was the first part, and just, you know, going throughout the years, and I could even say even as a man or even in my business. She's done nothing but add value.
There it is.
And so, and it's funny, we were talking about it the other day because everybody always talks about like multiple streams of income. And so we talk about like these different, you know, people having like different jobs, and like, because that's like, you know, them making money this way and the other. And so it's like you putting all this energy into like all these different jobs. But if you put that effort into one job or in one field, like you can have so much more.
Yes.
And so we literally like, and it's fun, Herbalife has, you know, like multiple streams of income in one versus like me trying to like do a whole bunch of other things.
Yeah.
So it's like literally the same thing with the relationship. So it's like versus like being all over the place. If I just put my energy and my focus into this one relationship, then I know it can be so much more. And so, you know, and then having like having wise counsel around me, and so you know, talking to them and them asking me questions and like really putting a thought on my mind, and just, you know, being, I wouldn't even say like necessarily like being completely ready, but being ready enough to like pull the trigger. because it's one of those things where you'll never be fully ready.
Yes.
And if you wait on yourself to be ready, then you won't do it.
You ain't gonna never do it.
And so it was just doing it and then knowing that God is gonna catch us. Like if we stumble, I'd rather stumble with her than to stumble on my own.
Yes.
And so it was just different things like that to like every time I thought of like, you know, if this happens, it's like, well, I know we're gonna do this.
Yes.
And I know if I do this, I know she got me.
There it is.
And I know ain't nobody else gonna have my back like she got my back, because she's done it time and time. So it's like, why not? You know, why risk it? So, and plus I knew like my time was running out. So
yeah, the shot clock.
Yeah. So,
let's talk about the shot clock. Yeah. I want to find out how to transition to that.
Right.
We want the transition, but you set it up. Thank you for the
There you
alley oop.
go. Boom.
You gave me the alley oop. Here we go. So let's talk about this transition. This shot clock was going. What happened?
2020 came, and I was just like, all right. So I had a conversation. I had a conversation with him and said, by New Year's of 2020.
2021.
This was 2019. Going into
2019.
I was like, by the new year, like something gonna have to happen, or we could be, friends and business partners.
And so, what month did you tell him that?
Ooh, was it January? I think it was New Year's. The
the
day
year
after
before.
New Year's, 2020.
2019.
No, 2020. Going in the new year of 2020.
Like, he just proposed to you. We in 2021.
So 2019, yeah.
Yeah,
So
2019.
Yeah.
Yeah, of 2019, 2018, whatever. And you said, I'm going to give you pretty much a year.
And that was 2020.
And that would be 2020.
Right.
And then when did you propose? No, first of all, what did you think when she said that?
You sound just like your mama.
Yeah.
First thought.
Yeah.
Second thought was she don't even know, like, it's already on my mind to like propose this year. So it was like I already had it set like in my mind.
Did you have a month set?
Didn't have a month set. I just had like an idea of like what it would be. And so that was really it.
So when she received that, when she said that to you, did it make you get a little like, you don't tell me what to do? Or was you like, you about to mess up what I'm about to do? or was you like, oh, baby, I got you.
Yeah. Literally, like, no, that's what I told her. And so for the longest, like, I told her I wouldn't, like, go in detail or, like, drop hints or anything like that or talk about it, because I said if I talk about it, I'm going to give you too much information and you're not going to be surprised.
Yeah.
But when she said it, I said, okay, I said it's gonna happen this year. I said I'm just not gonna tell you when. Yeah.
Oh, he actually told you that.
Yeah. I said I'm just not. I can't tell you when because that'll spoil it. I said, but don't worry, it's coming.
What you think when he said that? You think he was just lying?
Trying to buy time.
Yeah, because that's typically what men.
I'm like.
He said, Yeah. I remember when I talked to her before. I talked to her when I was at her shop, and she was like, oh, yeah, I'm telling you. I said, you ain't going to go nowhere. He said, oh, yes, I am. Yes, I am. I said, no, you're not. No, you're not. And then I told Deja, I said, hey, give me his number. I want to talk to him so we can help plan it. I want to help plan it, And I said, I want to plan it. And then and she's like, I'm going to talk to him because he got to do it right. He got to do it right. And I said, you think he going to do it? He said, I think he going to do it. I think he going to do it. She over there talking about, You know what I'm saying? And that's when you know that, and it's interesting because there's nothing wrong with her being skeptical because it's based upon the choices that she made in her past. Mm-hmm. And so, and she don't want to get herself hopes up high because it's like, if it don't go right, then here it is. Men always disappoint you. It's echoed in her brain. It's embedded in her brain from her upbringing. And so, and while I don't suggest that everybody gives an ultimatum, I do believe that every woman should have a shot clock. She should be like, listen, I'm not finna, because women can expire their healthy levels or time frame of childbirth and all that type of stuff, and they'll get guys that they'll be in these 10-year relationships with, and if you want to marry that woman soon. Like, I haven't met a man yet that said, you know what, for the first 10 years of dating her, I didn't want to be my wife, but you're 13, I actually started thinking that should be my wife. Like, no, you knew. You was like, you know what, I can see her as my wife. We got to work through some things, but I can see her as my wife. As different. Could you see her as your wife early on?
Yeah, I did, and she said it early on. Like I knew that she needed some time, and she might say that I needed some time, but I knew like she needed some time, like to have that independence.
Yes,
and I just really
to
wanted
get her own security
yeah.
that you wanted.
Because
Yeah,
I always lived with somebody.
right.
Yeah, see, that's good.
And so, I just knew like that was it. And so she had pretty much done like everything else. So, but I knew like it would have been, because we've always talked about like, even though we're together, like we're still individuals.
Yes.
And she I've never like wanted her like always under me, and she don't want me always up under her. Mm-hmm. But a lot of times, like if you don't know, how to be an individual, then you think like that's how it's supposed to be. Like I'm supposed to be around you 24/7.
Yeah.
Like we married now, so it's like we joint at the hip.
Yeah.
Nah, we can take some time apart. We can separate for a little bit and come back together at the hip. Like it's nothing wrong with us still being individuals.
Yeah.
Good. Good. And so when he did propose to you, which I saw the beautiful engagement, I'm a sucker for that stuff.
I knew it was coming, but I didn't know how.
Right.
But I always told him he could never get to know me because I pay attention.
And what happened?
To how he moved, because he's very like he do the same thing. So he's very timed like this.
Yeah.
So if anything is out the ordinary, like if you say, hey, we get dressed, put on something nice, we're gonna go eat, I'm like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? Because we go out to eat in gym clothes.
Yeah.
So it's just like little things. I'm like, something's going on. So, but I mean, I like the movies. So from there, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. We're in the middle of pandemic anyway. I'm like, okay, been to the movies in a long time.
Yeah.
And so we went there. I mean, it all made sense because his cousin is a producer and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, it makes sense because he have little showings and stuff.
Yeah. So
it made sense. So, I didn't expect it at all. It was just kind of weird because nobody was moving in the audience. I'm like, dang, this movie studio, like, you know what I mean? Where's the people with the food? Because I was hungry. And I'm like, okay, why ain't nobody in the audience moving? And then where's the people? I pushed the button.
Nobody come.
Ain't nobody come. And then I guess that threw them off. And so somebody ran out there and was like, take your order. And I'm like, this is weird. What kind of... It was just, I'm like, this is some weird stuff. And then that's when the video came on. And then I was like, oh, okay. Then the lights came on. I said, oh, okay, that's why y'all wasn't moving. They my family and friends. I'm like, oh, yo.
How'd you feel?
Well, I was like, dang, he took his time to do all this, because I've seen some, different type of engagements where it was no thought. It was just kind of like,
sitting over there at spaghetti warehouse talking about, so what's up? We gonna do this or not? You know what I'm saying? Like, what we gonna do?
Yeah. So for him to, cause his personality, he's not like a planner detail type person. So for him to do the details and plan it, even though I knew he had help. Yeah. Because I told my friend, like we playing this on the whole back end. Like she knew my ring size, she knew what kind of ring I want. Like we already had that planned out long time ago, just in case, because we know he was gonna go to her and ask her.
That's what he's supposed to.
So we already knew had all that solidified. But like I said, for him to have the stuff planned, being her time, then like I was just like, oh, okay. So I was like, dang, you feel like special because I'm like, oh, okay, wow. I was just shocked.
Did you cry?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah. I was crying and laughing.
Cause y'all a thug, ain't you? She's so hard, ain't she? You a thug, boy. I'm like, you get her to cry.
Thug,
I'm see she cried. I'm see she cried at the wedding. I'm see she cried at the wedding this week. Yeah. Mess up all your little makeup. Yeah. I want to see some tears fall. Like I need to see those photos. Cause she's so like, you know what I'm saying? That's interesting. Man, it's gonna be interesting. But that was beautiful, man. I love it when the man steps up, crowns his queen. With a ring, and that was so dope. Like it was, and when I saw the video on IG, I was like, yes, Yes. I slid right in your DMs. I was like, like a freaking chick or something. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna come up there tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's so dope, but I love that. I love it because one thing about it, I don't know how hard she acts, but she loves the mess out of you. You know what I'm saying? And I knew it from the first day that I met her. And even to see you leaving, I met you before I met her, which means that you were covering her even in her business. I peep all that stuff. So I was like, you know, they own this together. It's like, no, it's mine. And then you went and got your own. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's when y'all, I'm let y'all understand something. I want this to be encouraging to people who are dating people and you don't feel like you can, you know, level each other up. Or if you feel like y'all, I don't care what you guys are doing. If y'all's professions are total opposites, there's still something you can do to help that person out. If they have a 9 to 5, you can pack them a lunch to go to work. You know what I'm saying? It's something you can do that you can actually, hey, you need me to help you while you're working on this? If they're a school teacher, hey, you want me to read some of these papers with you? Like, you can always do something to help out that person. And what that does is add value to the relationship. And the next thing you know, you're looking around, they're like, you really got me, don't you? You know what I'm saying? And be like, yeah, you got me too, huh? And that's how you can actually build something together in purpose. So what are some things that's crossing y'all's mind? You said something about you're looking forward to marriage, and I want to end on that note. What is the one thing, Shara, that you're looking forward to the most? Y'all getting married this Friday, right?
Yeah. Yes.
This Friday. What's that date?
August 6th.
August the 6th. What's the one thing you're looking forward to the most?
I think more so just like having somebody there to like do different things and experience like the world or experience things that I haven't yet experienced. So like traveling, just doing different things. And, you know, the awesome thing about it is like when you marry somebody that's actually you were friends with first.
Yes.
Because before we were together, we were like friends. You know what I'm saying? So with that, like we already had like a foundation. So it's kind of like we can switch hats.
Yes.
Like we can go from business partners to friends conversation to like we can switch those hats. And a lot of people in different relationships can't do that.
Yep.
So I think for me it's exciting when you can have a friend conversation or you can be, you know, you can be this person with one person.
Yes.
All these different people with one person. So that's what it is.
Passing the ball to you, Q. What are you looking forward to the most?
Kind of the same thing like she said, and family. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, he want to build a family.
I'm gonna give you some time.
He'll give you some time.
We're gonna start a family.
Men want legacy. Men want some legacy out there.
You know,
you're gonna be too independent around this world. Yeah. You know, you done did your business. I done let you build all that. You're happy. God bless you. You're in the top 1%. God bless you. Amen. Amen.
Amen. But she know her mom wants some grandkids. Mine do too.
There it is.
But and like she said, man, traveling and just really like going to another level and like making this thing fun. You know, and understanding like you can do this is like another chapter in life. And so just really create memories.
That's good.
You know, a lot of memories. So that's the plan, what I'm looking forward to.
Absolutely beautiful. Well, thank y'all for keeping it lit on the Dear Future Wifey podcast. Make sure that y'all follow them on their Instagram pages. That's the best way to connect with y'all, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so connect with them on the Instagram pages. Hey, if y'all want to learn more about their business, slide in their DMs. Hey, maybe they done shared something that makes you want to become a part of Herbalife. So there that is. So reach out to them. Dope individuals. Listen, I'm proud of y'all. I speak blessings over y'all. Matter of fact, I'm just going to pray for y'all real quick. Is that okay? Heavenly Father, I lift up my brother and sister before you right now, before they embark upon this beautiful thing that you've instituted called marriage and holy matrimony. God, we thank you right now in the name of Jesus. Continue to cover them. Lord, I speak right now that no weapon formed against them shall prosper, and every tongue that rises up against them shall be condemned, for this is their inheritance because they're servants of you. Protect them, cover them in the name of Jesus. Satan, we bind up every demonic attack that tries to come against their marriage. No weapon formed against them shall prosper. And we thank you in the name of Jesus. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen.
Thank y'all so much. Keep doing what y'all doing, and I'll keep y'all lifted up. Y'all be blessed. I hope y'all gain value from this podcast. It's interesting. I always love talking to people and hearing their journey to the altar. So y'all be in prayer for them as they embark upon their nuptials this coming up Friday. Dear future wifey, do you know how it feels to give your all to someone that you'll never give up on, yet feel unappreciated and used by that person? I know your mind automatically went to a lover, but I'm speaking of parenthood. You see, I love being a dad. However, for me, being a parent continues to show me my sacrifices for my children are rarely acknowledged, and at times I feel taken advantage of. I have an interesting dynamic with my children. I'm the biological father to a daughter who's in her mid-20s, a father to an 18-year-old son I adopted 2 years ago, and a father to an about-to-be teenage nephew I adopted in 2017. Raising teenagers is, well, mind-boggling, to say the least. Dealing with my kids' mistakes and shortcomings always make me consider the unwavering love I'll have for you. See, I find most people are more forgiving, tolerant, committed, and exemplify foreverness with their offspring, but don't foster that same mindset when it comes to a spouse. I've been guilty of that. My future wifey, we will be forever. Our commitment will withstand the test of times. My goal is to reflect the commitment Christ has for us as stated in Deuteronomy 31, verse 6. I will never leave you nor forsake you. Your future hubby.
Thank you for listening to the Dear Future Wifey podcast. Remember, be lit, live intentionally and transparently, and don't stop loving.
Make sure to subscribe to our Dear Future Wifey YouTube channel. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Stitcher. We welcome your support. Simply share our podcast with your friends and family.